This is a special edition of my New Normal podcast. Normally, I don't introduce my guest on the podcast. This one I want to get out quickly by the weekend here, and I think it's just worthwhile sharing because I was part of this. You'll hear about what this is in a moment. But today I've got Leo Prada from Argentina. Leo, welcome to New Normal.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
I'm
really happy to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's not been that long, and but things have changed. And first off, I want to say congratulations on your recent 10th wedding anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, I see it as an achievement because relationship is something that you have to work on every day, and you know there are some difficult moments, but 10 years is I see it as an achievement, and also it's my second marriage. So,
but we've spoken a couple of times during this pandemic, the last 2.5, 3 years here, and you spent quite a bit of time away from your family. I guess 2 years ago, right?
We had some rough times during because we dated for about 4 years, and she was in Croatia and I was in Argentina, and we were coming and going. So we already had this in the beginning. But then during the pandemic, we were separated in 2020, actually. Mm-hmm. But the things were different now because we have a son. So when you have children and being away from them, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
But we made it. So
you made it. You made it to 10 years. So congratulations. I thought that's worth. This is sort of a thing about Leo. And for those, of course, there's show notes here. There'll be links in the LinkedIn posts wherever you might hear this podcast. You can find links to Leo if you're interested in that sort of stuff. But what I learned about Leo a couple of years ago was that he shares a lot. Now, that might seem sort of normal nowadays in 2022, but I really only know Leo on LinkedIn, which is traditionally known as a business network. The LinkedIn's changed a lot over the last few years. I'm sure Leo's seen a lot of those changes as well. Some people say it's become more like Facebook or more like a Twitter, things like that. But it's still, at least my feeds are mostly pretty professional or business-oriented, not just about my business, but about what am I doing in my business. And sometimes personal achievements are being shared. There's people that I know, Leo and I are both connected to, who share photos of their pizzas they've baked with their grandchildren at the weekend. Leo's picture of his wife celebrating their 10th anniversary just recently, he shared out there. Those things, I believe, need to be shared with your business network or your business partners. And this is something I learned early on when I came across Leo, is the things he shared. And something that he started a year ago, I didn't know it was just a year ago, was under the hashtag Meet Leo's Contacts. And perhaps, Leo, before I try to explain what it is, how did you come up with this idea and what were you trying to achieve with it?
Yeah, so it was an idea that I had right before going to sleep. So I turned my phone on again before going to sleep, and the blue light again on the eyes.
Yep.
And then I said, okay, I have to write it down because I think this might be a good idea. Let's do, because I was trying to figure out which was a good way for me to interact with my network and for them to interact with each other in a way. So I said, okay, I'll propose to some of the people that I know that are willing to do it, to introduce themselves via a short video. So it was sort of a elevator pitch, but on a short video about themselves. And in a way, I didn't have to do much, just edit it and put the intro and so on. So basically, the guests were doing all the work, and I was just posting it. And I thought it was a good idea to generate, because maybe you are doing a video about what you do, somebody sees it, and then they remember it, and that's the way it goes. And I thought it might be a good idea. And yeah, I had it for a year. When I started it, I didn't know what it was going to become, and I just flow with it and see how it goes. And now after a year, I said, okay, maybe I can put it on hold because I have a new job, and even though I have time for Meet Leo's Contacts, I also need time for my children and so on.
And that's why I reached out to you and said, let's get on a podcast together, because we did a podcast not too many months ago, and you had asked me, maybe it was a year ago, to if I would be interested in making my own video for your experiment, I guess I would call it here. And it took me a long time to make my video. I'm very happy, though, having seen your announcement that you're going to put Meet Leo's contacts to rest for the moment, that I did submit one. It took me a long time, one, because I was still trying to decide what my business is. And so you put me under a little bit of pressure, which was welcomed. But maybe thinking back, do you remember who the first video that you got sent, who it was, and what was your feeling when you got it?
Yeah, I do, because immediately when I thought about it, I said, I'm going to contact, his name is Joe Apfelbaum. He owns a marketing company, and he's really active on LinkedIn, and he makes video like when he's jogging, he shares some business advice and so on. So he's really active, and he has all of these strategies behind being present. And I said, I'm sure Joe is going to like it and going to be a part of it. And he actually made 2 videos. And I posted both, because in one of them he said like hola, and then continued in English and so on. So yeah, some of the people I had in mind, like yourself, because I knew from before they do interesting stuff. They have either podcasts or like Andrew Prokop, who he shares the stuff on LinkedIn, but he also has courses on YouTube, and I think about these people who are already willing to share and doing it. So it's just like just another thing that they would be doing. So,
and I think it's just, I want to say, this is what I think was a bit of the challenge of the idea, is not everyone is comfortable with video. Right, you and I.
That was one of the.
We're on a Zoom call, right? We're on a Zoom call right now, but I don't use the video. I use it just so we can see each other and wave and stuff like that. And because I can be on video if I want to be all the time, but I just don't think it's necessary. And I think a lot of people that you may have had in mind might have said, "Yeah, but putting me on video." Of course, they didn't have to be on video. It could have just been, it could have been a picture of their business or something, and they talk over it.
Yeah.
But the setup that you shared was record a video of yourself talking about your business, which I think is a grand idea. And I did follow 2 of the people that you posted out there. I ended up following them on LinkedIn because I just found it really interesting what they were doing, and I wanted to follow more. But I thought, did you get any kind of reactions like that from people that, video, maybe not me?
I think the biggest resistance I found when I spoke about the idea was, wait, how does it go? I need to talk about myself. I don't know. Maybe if you ask me questions, I would do it. That's something I heard a lot. And I said, well, I'm not ready to interview people because I don't know. So it was like the biggest resistance was this. I don't know what to say. You know how some people know how to take selfies, and some people just look awkward on their selfies, like
you're not looking at my phone now, are you? No,
right.
That's
Right, smiling at who? So this is the same kind of thing. So that was the biggest resistance I found.
So I needed a lot of time to get my video back to you, and you were very, very polite. You didn't prod too much. For me, it was a good exercise because I was formulating my new business, what I'm going to do here, and I, making the video itself was obviously very simple for me. That's not something hard for me to do. But what am I going to talk about took me the longest time.
Yes.
Maybe if you were asking me questions, it would have been easier. But I want to know, was the whole exercise this year that you spent, was it worth it to you?
For me, absolutely yes, because at the beginning, I was doing this because I thought maybe it would be a good idea. And then I saw it growing. And then I saw some people made connections, like you mentioned before. Some other people said it. And then I was in between jobs about a couple of months ago. And I said, okay, I'm going to use this time to do something. And I built a website for Leo's contacts. So that in itself, I like creating. And building websites is something I find exhilarating, even though they're really simple. They don't do anything fancy. It's like writing a small book. It's not a book, but that sense that you're creating something. So building the website for it and then updating it and so on, for me, it was a really good experience. And like I said, it's not like I'm going to stop doing it, but I don't have the time to continue chasing the people who said. A lot of people said, like yourself, like the concept that you were saying before. I don't know what to say. Many people have like different things that they do. They have like one business and then they do something else. So they need to decide, am I gonna talk about this, or because there are no requirements. So I said, you can talk about how you help others or your baseball stamps collection. I don't know, whatever you want. So being that open of a question, then it makes it sometimes a bit difficult to decide. So
Did you send me a video through LinkedIn DMs with an example of you could just talk about anything? I think I remember seeing, maybe you posted it, I'm not sure. It was one of those, hey people, this is not hard to do. Look, I think you maybe were sitting outside on a bench somewhere with your phone recording it and saying this is all you need to do, sort of stuff, trying to get people to do it. And I think that's one, like I said at the beginning, you share, not just you share a lot on LinkedIn, on social media. Mostly LinkedIn is where I know you're mostly active. A lot of it recently is around the work you're doing with the new company you're with. I think it's creative, it's interesting, it's fun, it's very short, it's easy, it's inclusive, right? It's got text and not just audio. So if you don't want to listen to something in the office on your PC or wherever you might be, or if you're in the subway, you're just reading it. Really smart thing. I think that's very, hopefully it's being received very well by the company.
Thank you. Yes.
But you share things from your own network, and that's what really brought me to all this. You shared meet Leo's contacts. I mean, you have a lot of contacts. You shared with me on the last podcast interview we did together, how you achieved all that because of certain roles you had in the past. So you have quite a big network there. I did see some people would comment to you about, well, why are you doing this? You're not getting 10,000 views on these videos. What happened to all your contacts, Leo? That must have been pretty frustrating.
It did, but I moved on. I learned that it wasn't really talking about me, but usually when you say something, you're mostly talking about yourself rather than the other person. So I didn't take it personally. I did at the beginning, but then I learned to move on, and I figured. And also, my wife was really a part of it, and my daughter. They told me, you know what, you like it, and some people give you really good feedback, and also I had some feedback which was constructive, which I welcome that kind of feedback, like you could do this, or I don't know, include this, do that, do this. But this type of comments, you're not getting 100 million views. I said, okay, I'm not. So what? So be it. Because it's not about them. It is a numbers game. Like right now in the new job that we were talking about before, I'm building a series of videos. Every day I'm posting one video, and the purpose of this is not getting to my 20,000 contacts, but rather getting to those 20 who do something related to it. So, or if even one of them is interested and finds it interesting, and then they say, "Oh, look, Leo, or the company where Leo is doing this in the future," and they remember, "Oh, we can use that product." So I think that's the key.
I think it's a huge opportunity from a couple of different sides. One, you said you were going to post, I think, 30 videos in 30 days or something like that. With each is a scenario, is a scene, it's a solution that your company a use case that can be shared quite easily there, showing certain things, whether it's a towing company, whether it's a package delivery. It's again, in the show notes, you can follow Leo and go find these links. They're all out there. But I think one, it's helping you to learn about the new company, right? So by doing this, you have to sit down with each of these 30 use cases and work through them through your mind and figure out what it is they do, what's the real advantage here, how do I talk about this in front of other people? So after those 30 videos to be made, you're going to be very well versed in at least in these 30 use cases. So that's great. You're also showing this to people who are going to say, wow, that's interesting. I had thought something like that must be possible, but I've never really seen it. anywhere being done. So tick box, this company can do that kind of work. Another one is there's younger people that see that as like, that's an interesting company. Maybe I might be interested in working with them at some point. Right? That kind of network reaction you could have here as well. So I think there's a lot of benefit of it's slick. So it's well made, it's clean, it's short, 2 minutes, sometimes even less in length there. Professionally made enough, so with logos and text, so it doesn't look like a school kid drew it up on something like that there, but not too fancy, right? Not too corporate with a fancy, music underneath it or something, which can be nice, but it's not really necessary. You're just trying to get a use case across quickly in a short period of time.
And the voice is my voice. It's not a voiceover actor, and it's not Hollywood scenes. So well, that was the whole idea.
I would say, you almost have that Hollywood voice, though, Leo. So I don't want to take that away from you.
That's one of my dreams, to become a voiceover actor.
There you go. There you go. So last bit of your Meet Leo's contacts, because you announced at the beginning of this week, first week of October, that you're going to put it to sleep. Put it to rest or something at the moment now.
Correct. You
might bring it back at some point. Like you said, you've got a new job, you've got a family, you've got things to celebrate and take time with. And, Meet Leo's contacts could come back at any time, or somebody else could pick up the idea and make their own hashtag out of it and do it themselves. You just instigated an idea for others to do something, to give something back to their network there. Were there any specific moments that you remember during all that, whether videos that you got or just interactions with people who said, I can't talk about myself, I'm too nervous, or is there anything else you'd like to share from that whole experience?
I found that since it didn't have any, it was just an open canvas for people to say what they like. I really liked it when people did something different. So I had done like a categorization, and what you said before, when I was trying to convince someone to make their videos like yourself, I sent them a video like, look what this guy did, or look what this woman, where is she located? Like, there's one in the top of a mountain in Croatia, and because she went climbing with some friends, so she said, okay, this looks like a good location to record the video. That kind of thing. So yeah, for me, it's been a really good experience. And for instance, I met someone on LinkedIn. He did the video, and then he helped me out reshaping my resume for free while I was looking for a job. Now we're, it's kind of a friendship, online relationship that it has become. So for me, it has been really an enriching experience. Yeah.
Well, that's the reason I wanted to bring you on this special episode of my Do Normal podcast, because what it is a very digital use you're putting to use here. You're using a social media, a social network, be it maybe a business network, to perhaps introduce people to other business ideas or business people doing things like that, but also just making connections as we can through these networks nowadays. And because you're ending this program of yours, Meet Leo's Contacts, I wanted to give you a chance to walk off stage and say, all right, it's done, it's over. The webpage is out there. You can look at the videos. If you're interested, come follow Leo on LinkedIn and see what else he's talking about. He's very creative. I just wanted to thank you personally for pulling me into your network and making me be a part of it, as much as I wanted to very much at the beginning, but found it very difficult to come up with the right wording and phrasing there. So I just wanted to say thanks for that. And thanks for all the effort you put together to help drive interest in people connecting with other people. I think that's the whole point of what you're trying to do here. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to thank you for having me and for being a part of it. I mean, I know sometimes it takes a bit of time and effort, of course. So I really appreciated all of the videos that I got. And I know that for some, it has been really challenging, like we were discussing. I'm not comfortable in speaking in front of a camera, but I'm going to do it anyways. So that was really one of the highlights when I would get one of those videos like, I don't do any videos, but here's for you. the video for with Leo's context.
All right, Leo, thank you. I know this is early in your day. It's the end of my work week just about over here on a Friday afternoon, so don't be too jealous. Your weekend comes soon enough. Congratulations on the new job. Not so new, but relatively new job. I know you've told me it's a great place for you right now, and I wish you all the success. Show notes below will have all the links to Leo, the things on LinkedIn. You follow some of his videos just to get you ideas of what companies could be doing. It's not hard. It's not heavy lifting. And be back next week with the next New Normal podcast. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you so much.